Okay, so let's start with question 1. Which of the following is 50,000 and 56 in numerals? So if you were to put in 50,000, we look something like this: 50, then 1, 2, 3, right? 50,000. So the next thing is, what is 56? So 56 will then be equal to 56, like this. So 50,056 is basically equal to, in this case, 50,000 plus 56, which is equal to 50,056. In this case, is option number 2. Right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Which decimal is greater than 0.07 but smaller than 0.19? So in this case, we want to convert all of this. So convert all of the options to two decimal place. So for that, option 1 will be equal to, we put 0.1 to 0.10. Then for option number 2, this will be 0.2, will be 0.20. Now, which decimal is greater than 0.07? So in this case, option 3 is not greater, right? Greater than 0.07. The 3 is 0.01. And option 4 is not greater than 0.07. Because this is 0.6. Then for this, option 1, which is 0.10, and option 2, which is 0.20, is greater than 0.07. So out of these two options, which one is smaller than 0.19? So option 2 is 0.20 is not smaller than 0.19. I'm gonna put a cross here. Okay, and that leaves us with option number 1, which is 0.0, which is smaller than 0.19, which in this case is a tick. So the answer is 0.1, which is option number 1. Question number 3. In a number line, what is the mixed number represented by A? So to solve this, what we need to do is, we need to count the number of gaps. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to write down here, total gaps is equal to 6, which means the denominator is 6. So I think it's pretty straightforward. Over here, option 2 is the answer, right? So option 2 has a denominator 6, which means the correct answer. Okay, which in this way, tick. Alrighty, let's move on to the next question. Question 4. What is the value of 18 plus bracket 30 minus 6 bracket divided by 3 times 2? So this is what we call order of operations. So we have, like, if you remember, it's board mass. So B means brackets. This means order or power of. And then this divide, this multiply, this is add, this is subtract. Okay, so in this case, we will do the brackets first. So 18 plus 30 minus 6. Copy this down over. Okay, so this, we'll do the brackets first. 30 minus 6 is 24. Next thing is, from here, we can see whether we can divide first. Can. So 24 divided by 3. So that means 18 plus 8 times 2. Can we multiply next? Can. 8 times 2. Okay, so that means 18 plus 16. And lastly, 18 plus 16 is 34. Therefore, the answer is 34. Question number 5. The figure shows part of a weighing scale. Which of the following is the closest to the reading indicated by the arrow? So if we were to zoom this in over here, it's between 7 to 80. Okay, so you can see the options all start with 7, which is good. So in between 7 and 8 over here, okay, there is this mid part over here, and the arrow is more than the mid part of 70 and 80. So this means the reading is more than 75. So that means option 1 is 73. Option 2, which is 75, is not the correct answer. In this case, next. Okay, so out of 77 and 78, which one is the closest? So the arrow is in between 75 and 80, right? Or I would say is less than the mid part of 75 and 80. So which means this part over here So mid part of 75 and 80 is equal to 75. So bracket 75 plus 80 and then divided by 2. In this case, it's 155 divided by 2, and that will be 77.5. So option 3 is less than 77.5, which makes it the correct answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 6. Which of the following is the same as 6,020 milliliters? So we know that 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter. So 6,000 milliliters is equal to 6 liters. So that means option 1 and 2 is not correct. Okay, as it has 60 liters. So how about the milliliters? So 6,020, or we call it remaining ml, is equal to 6,020 minus 6,000 equal to 20 milliliters. Therefore, 6,020 milliliters is equal to 6 liters and 20 ml. In this case, is option number 4. Question number 7. A prism has 2 right angle triangular faces and 3 rectangular faces. Which of the following will complete the net of prism? So this is the 3D, I will say, view of the prism. And then we have the flat or net view of the prism. So what we want to figure out is what is this missing part is over here. So what is the dimensions? So we know that the 4 centimeters, this one, is at the bottom. 4 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight this in red or yellow. I think it's yellow. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this in yellow like this. So you see this 4 centimeters. That means this is the base of the prism. So the next thing is these 3 centimeters over here. So these 3 centimeters is indicating over here, right? So which one will then be the 3 centimeters rectangular face? So this will be 3 centimeters. If you guessed this one, then you're right. So this is also 3 centimeters, like this. Okay. So the 3 centimeters touches this part, which is this rectangular face over here. So that is left with one more rectangular face like this. Okay. So we know the 6 centimeters are basically the same length, right? So this is also 6 centimeters. Touch. So what is this remaining breadth over here? So how many centimeters? So if you were to guess the 5 centimeters, then you're right, because this 5 centimeters is also touching this part over here. So that means this is 5 centimeters. Okay, so from the different options, which one do you think is the answer? If you guess option number 3, then you are right. Okay, so that is option number 3. Question 8. 5 letters are drawn on the square grid. How many of the letters have both perpendicular and parallel lines? So let's start with the first one over here, okay, which is looks like an F. So in this case, we do have a perpendicular line, one of it like this. So 1 and 2, and this gives us a perpendicular, as well as over here. Then at the same time, we also have a parallel line. So I'm going to mark it red as well. And this is parallel. Okay, so that means this is correct. So we have 1 correct. Okay, let's move on to the second shape. Is there a perpendicular line? Yes, there is. So if you were to see this part and this part, that means this is perpendicular. Wow, so it can go diagonal like that. But is there a parallel line? So there is no parallel line, which makes this X. So for the first shape on the left, F. So for shape 1 on the left, we have perpendicular line and parallel line. For shape number 2, which is an X, we have a perpendicular line, but we don't have a parallel line. I'm gonna put a cross. Okay, let's move to the third shape. This is an M. Okay, so for the third shape, do we see a parallel line? Yes, we do. So we have 1, highlighted in red, and 2. Okay, so we do have a parallel line as what you see over here. Do we see a perpendicular line? If you say yes, then you're right. Okay, so the perpendicular line, let me just put in blue, so it looks a bit more obvious. Okay, so the perpendicular line is here, like this. Okay, so like I said, it can be diagonal-ish. So for shape 3, which is an M, we have both the perpendicular line and the parallel line. All right, let's move to the next shape. So shape number 4, do we see a perpendicular line? Yes, we do. So the perpendicular line is here, but do we see a parallel line? No, we don't. So in this case, for shape number 4, is a Y. The parallel line is not found. So we're going to give a cross. So lastly, the N. For the N, which is shape number 5, do we see a parallel line? Yes, we do. So the parallel line over here is this one. Okay, but do we see a perpendicular line? No, we don't. Okay, so for shape number 5, which is an N, the perpendicular line is not found, but the parallel line is found. So if we were to zoom it out and give our verdict, 1 and 3 has it, but the rest don't have it. So that means there's only 2 shapes that has both the perpendicular and parallel lines, which in this case is option number 2. Question 9. The table shows the departure times of bus A, B, C, D at the bus terminal. Keith arrived at the bus terminal at 1 p.m. What is the earliest bus he can take? So for bus A, we missed the bus as it departs or left at 12:45 because Keith arrived at 1300 or in this case 1 p.m. So bus A in this case is a no-no. What about bus B? Okay, so bus B, I would say the difference in terms of the departure time and Keith arrival would then be equal to 1330 minus 1300. Okay, this is 30 minutes. Okay, so just need to wait 30 minutes. Okay, what about bus C? So bus C over here arrives at 1415. So that means we need to wait for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And lastly, bus D, which is 1500, which means we need to wait for 2 hours. So when it says earliest bus, if can take means the difference or waiting time should be the shortest, which in this case is bus B, is option number 2. Right. Question 10. The number of pies sold at the bakery decreased by 150 from Wednesday to Thursday and increased by 60 from Thursday to Friday. Which graph shows the number of pies sold at the bakery from Wednesday to Friday? Right, question 10. The number of pies sold at the bakery decreased by 150 from Wednesday to Thursday and increased by 60 from Thursday to Friday. Which graph shows the number of pies sold at the bakery from Wednesday to Friday? So if I were to, draw like a simple graph over here, and then just zoom this in, we will have, like, for example, this is Wednesday, WED, short form for Wednesday. And then we also have Thursday in this part as well. So it says here the bakery decreased by 150. So that means the line will look something like this, right? So this is in a way minus 150. Make it a bit difficult to just exaggerate how this looks. Now, then from Thursday to Friday, something like this. So I think to make it a little bit simpler, let's say this minus 150, we start from 150 at this point over here. So this is 150. So this is just an example. So we start at 150. We minus 150 from Wednesday to Thursday. That means this is in a way 0, right? So I'm just going to color this as red so it's easier. Okay, so now we know this is 0. Then it increased by 60. So I'm going to put this here and plus 60. This will be green. So where do you think this will go? So it's roughly somewhere something like this, right? So there is a deep or very steep line going downwards and then plus 60. So it can't be like this because minus 150, if you want to go as the same, we need to have plus 150. But since this is just plus 60, it will look something like this, like a simple tick. So let's see what options that is a simple tick as what we see over here. So in this case, it is option number 4 as what we see over here. So the answer to this question is option number 4. Right, question 11. A plank of wood was first cut into 2 pieces in the ratio of 2:3. The longer piece was then cut into 2 pieces in the ratio of 1:3. The shortest piece of the wood among the 3 pieces was 18 centimeters. What was the length of the original plank of wood? So let's draw this out. So we have over here, let's put this as, so 2 units, I'm going to here 2 units, and then this is 3 units, okay, which is the longer part. So the longer piece was then cut into 2 pieces, the ratio of 1:3. That means this thing over here is cut into 2 pieces. So one part, going to put this, maybe I'll change this color to red. So one part to 3 parts, what you see over here. So the shortest piece among the 3 pieces was 18 centimeters long. So that means this one part, which is the shortest one, it is 18 centimeters. Okay, so from here, what was the length of the original plank of wood? So we know that one part is equal to 18 centimeters. Then that means we can go 3 parts, which is 3 times 18, and this will give us 54 centimeters. Then we also know that 3 units is equal to 4. Then 1 unit would then be 54. Sorry, we actually need to get 4 parts, right? So the total 4 parts is the longer is equal to 18 times 4. Instead of 3 times 18, we want to get 4 parts. And in this case, it will be 72. So that means the total over here is 72 centimeters. So from here, we can actually calculate that 3 units is equal to 72. Then 1 unit will be 72 divided by 3, and this will give us 24. So the total units over here will be 5 units, which is the length of original plank of wood. In this case, it's basically 5 times 24, and this will give us 120, which means question 11 is option number 4. Question 12, the shaded figure is made up of a large semicircle and a square with a small semicircle cut out from the square. The diameter of the small semicircle is 10 centimeters, and the diameter of the large semicircle is twice the length of the diameter of the small circle. What is the parameter of the shaded figure? So we know over here, the diameter is 10 centimeters, such. So that means we can calculate this part over here, highlight in red. So when I get a parameter, right? So since this is 10 centimeters, this is also 10 centimeters. Then this is also 10 centimeters. And then lastly, we also want to get this little part over here. And since we know that this whole thing over here is into 2, is 2 times twice the length of the diameter of the small semicircle. Already here. So that means diameter of large semicircle, basically 2 times of small semicircle. We know that the small semicircle diameter is equal to 10 centimeters. So that means this is 2 times 10 centimeters is 20 centimeters. Okay, so now we know that this is 20, like this. Then we also know that this is 10 as well, right? So 10 because it's a square. What you see over here. So that means these 2 parts, okay, no matter where it's being moved, right, it will be equal to 10 centimeters. So with this, let me just put this in orange. So the edge of the semicircle in orange is in this. It's hard to see, so I'm going to put this. Okay, is equal to 20 minus 10. This is 10 centimeters. Okay, so now we just need to get the diameter of the small semicircle and the diameter of the big semicircle. That's what we see over here. So diameter of large semicircle is equal to 2 times pi times radius. Okay, or in this case, it is also equal to diameter times radius. I mean pi or radius. So the diameter of the large semicircle is 20. So 20 times 3.14, and this will give us 62 point. Then for the diameter of the small semicircle, it is, the diameter is 10. So this will be 31.4. So total, right, then be equal to, in this case, 30.14. I'm gonna write this down. 1.4. This is in red. This, right? So I've added the semicircle for this length. So can start off with the 31.4 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, right? So the 2 10 sides and the edge over here, and then plus 62.8. And what I totally forgot is that since this is a semicircle, we need to times half. Half to, so which in this case will then be just half times diameter, half times 20. So this will be 31.4 instead. Not bad, but we all do make mistakes. So this will be half times, well, like this. So 31.4 divided by 2, so it's 15.7. So be 15.7, and this should be 31.4. In this case, it's 31.4, correct over here. And then we have 15.7. So if we add them up, it will be 31.4 plus 30 plus 15.7. Okay, so let us add these two numbers. So 47.1 plus 30, this will be 77.1. In this case, it's option number 1. Right, for question number 12. Okay, question 13. The table below shows the rates for renting a bicycle at a shop. Daniel rented a bicycle at 8:20 a.m. What is the latest time Daniel must return his bicycle if he only has $20 to spend on rent fees? So we know that he starts at 8:20 a.m. per hour, will then be $6. So then the remaining is basically 20 minus 6, and it gives us $14. Okay, since $4 is equal to 30 minutes, okay, then how about $14? So in this case, we have 14 divided by 4 times 30. So 14 divided by 4, in a sense, right? We can say that $4 is one block of 30 minutes. So number of 30-minute blocks would then be equal to 14 divided by 4, which is equal to 3 remainder 2. So do we round up or round down? So in this case, we always round. Okay, so which means it's just 3. So that means total additional time would then be 3 times 30, which is 90 minutes, which is also equal to 1 hour and 30 minutes. So total time will be equal to 1 hour 30 minutes plus 1 hour, which is equal to 2 hours 30 minutes. So latest time would then be equal to 8:20 a.m. plus 2 hours 30 minutes, which in this case is equal to 10:50 a.m. That is option number 2 for question number 13. Let's move on to the next question. Question 14. Two figures PQRS and WXYZ are shown in the square grid below. Which of the following statements is or true? So we have A. So let me just put it inside the working so it's easier to see. A is SR. SR is parallel to WX. B, question 14. Two figures PQRS and WXY are shown in the square grid below. Which of the following statements is or are true? Okay, so let me put the statement inside the word so it's easier to see. So for the first one is SR is parallel to WX. So let's have our handy dandy ruler over here. Okay. So in order for you to see whether they are parallel, you can use a ruler, or you can actually zoom in to the squares over here. So you see there's 1, 2, and 3 squares. And then the line is from one side of the square. I mean, of this, a bit too big, but yes. So from one side of these 3 squares to the bottom side of these 3 squares. So you can use the ruler, or you can just figure this. And then after that, you see if WX is also 3 squares. And they are. So that means SR and WX is parallel. Okay, let's go to the second one. B over here. So for B, it says here SPQ is equal to angle XYZ. So let's go to SPQ over here. So SPQ is similar. Okay, the print is a bit weird, but PQ is the same, 3 squares. And then you see that you just draw another square, but this time it's in blue. Okay, or yeah, you can use arrows actually. So for this case, PQ is 3 is to 1, and SR over here, SP is to 3. We need to do the same with XYZ. So XYZ, we have Z is 1, and Y over here is 3. Okay, promising. And then we need to find yx. So it's yx 2 wide and 3 height. So in this case, yx is 3 height, but it's also 3 height like this. In this case over here, it is not exactly the same. So this will be an x. Lastly, for C, figure PQRS and figure WXYZ has the same parameter. So if we calculate everything with our arrows over here, okay, so we draw the different, I would say, triangles formed in the outline. So this is how we, in a way, calculate the parameter. So for PQRS, which is on the left, we have a total of 2 plus 3, just 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3. So let me zoom out a bit, focus on the part. So 3 plus, so 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 3. Okay, so if we calculate everything, give us 18. So for WXYZ, let's calculate everything as well. So in this case, this is 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2. And this is also 18. So that means A and C is correct. So option number 3. Okay, let's move on to question 15. Molly had a container full of flour. Nelly and Ollie each had 2/7 of what Molly had. Molly gave away some flour to Nelly and Ollie so that all of three them have the same amount of flour in the end. What fraction of flour did Molly give away? So in this case, when it says here, Nelly and Ollie each have 2/7 of what Molly have. So Nelly equal to 2 units. Ollie equal to 2 units. And Molly has 7 units. So let's give the total. So total will be 2 plus 7 plus 2 plus 2 plus 7, which is equal to 11. 11 units over here. So for each of the amount shared equally to 3 people is basically 11 units divided by 3, and this will give us 11 out of 3 units, which in this case is equal to 3, 2 out of 3 units. So Molly gave away basically 7 minus 3, 2 out of 3, which will be equal to 3, 1 out of 3. So Molly, in this case, units are units. So Molly gave away in fraction will be gave away divided by total at first, which in this case would then be 3 1/3 units. Okay, so let's put this into a improper fraction, which is 10 out of 3 units. 10 out of 3 units is what she gave away, 10 out of 3 units. Then we just bracket this here to see over 7. So which is basically 10 out of 3 divided by 7, which means we will have to flip, right? So 10 divided by 3. So we flip this to equal to 3 out of 10 times 7. Sorry. So 10 out of 3 times that we flip it 1 out of 7. Okay, which in this case is 10 over 21, which is option number 4. This case over here. All right. Question 16. Find the value of 4 divided by 4.5 divided by 300. 4.5 divided by 300, which is the same as 4.5 divided by 3 divided by 100. In this case, 4 divided by 3 is equal to 1.5 divided by 100. And this will give us 0.015. Okay, there you go. Question 7. Find the value of 3 over 8 times 12. Give your answer in the simplest form. So 3 over 8 times 12. In this case, would that be equal to, you can just multiply, it's the same as this. 3 over 8 times 12 over 1. So the, I would say, lazier way is 36 over 8. Then we just simplify. So 36 divided by 4. So you can just say divide 4 for numerator and the denominator. Okay. And this will give us 9 over 2. In this case, is 4.5. So I see over here. Okay. Therefore, the answer is 4.5. Question 18. A hair clip is placed next to a ruler. Find the length of the hair clip. Okay, so let's zoom this hair clip in. So we want to calculate the number of gaps, right? So in this case, zoom, zoom, zoom. We have 1, We have 1 gap, 2 gap, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so 5 gaps equal to 2, 1 gap equal to 2 divided by 5, and this will give us 0.4. Okay, so in this case, we have 2 all the way to this 8. So we want to have this 2 gaps, right? So 2 gaps equal to 2 times 0.4 is equal to 0.8. So for the ruler, the hair clip is 8 minus 2 plus 0.8. So hair clip is equal to 8 minus 2 plus 0.8. This will give us 6.8. This case over here. There you go. 6.8 centimeters. Question 19. Benson took 210 minutes to complete the race. He was 25 minutes slower than Carson. How long did Carson take to complete the race? Give your answers in minutes. So Benson is 210 minutes. So when he say he was 250 minutes slower than Carson, slower means Benson took more time. Carson took less time. That means Carson is equal to Benson minus 25 minutes. So in this case, we know Benson is 210. So 210 minus 25. And this will give us 185 minutes. There you go. Question 20. The figure shows a cuboid with a square base of area 25 centimeters square. The area of the shaded face is 60 centimeters square. What is the height of the cuboid? Okay, so if the square base is 25 centimeters square, like this. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this in blue. So that means square base is basically equal to length times breadth, right? So square also means side times side. So if that means the side of square area of 25 centimeter square basically. So you can either square root 25, which is equal to 5, or square area side times side. So that means 25 centimeters square is basically equal to 5 centimeters times 5 centimeters. So that means side equal to 5 centimeters. This is an or. All right. Find square side from area. Okay. So now we know that in this is 5 centimeters. So let's zoom this in. This is 5 centimeters over here. And this is 5 centimeters. Okay. So we know that the shaded face. Okay, so I will say length equal to 5 cm. Let's put this first. Length is equal to 5 cm and breadth is equal to 5 cm. So the shaded face basically breadth times height. Okay, so to get the height, we'll just have shaded face divided by breadth. Since we know the shaded face, which is 60, and we divide it by 5, in this case, will be equal to 12 centimeters. So the height for this is 12 centimeters. Okay, there you go. Question 21. Find the value of, so this is 6 divided by 7, not plus. Okay, so 6 divided by 7. Okay, so I'm going to show how the workings looks like. So you put 6.0. So basically, we can just have, if you have 0.0 over here, we have to put 0 at the top. Well, so 0 point something, right? Okay, so 6.0 or 60 can minus 5.6. Okay, so that means is 0. All right, so 5.6 as well. Here, then this will give us 40, right? So 4, then put 40. Okay, so 40, and then we minus here, just put it like this. And then we minus 35. Okay, 40 minus 35, this will be 5. Okay, so round your answer to 2 decimal place means this means we need to get 3 decimal place. Okay, so we have that, and this will be 50 here. So 40 minus 35, which is 50. I'll put 50 over here. Then since we are dividing by 7, this will be 49. Is in this case 0.857. Put dot dot dot. Okay, so 6 divided by 7 is 0.857 dot dot dot. Then since to round decimal place, we need to check third decimal place, see if it's 5 or more. Since it's 7, round up means in this case will be equal to 0.6. There you go. So that's the answer, 0.6. Question 22. Jason used a calculator to divide a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number. For the 1-digit number, he made a mistake by pressing 6 instead of 7. He obtained an incorrect answer of 210. What should be the correct answer? So the 4-digit number, and then he divided by 1-digit number. Okay. So he obtained, so we know the 1-digit, which is equal to answer. So we know the 1-digit number is equal to 6, and the answer is equal to 210. Okay, so that means 4-digit number is equal to answer times 1-digit. The 4-digit number will then be equal to 210 times 6, which will be equal to 1260. So the correct answer, the correct 1-digit number is 7. That means 4-digit, the correct answer is equal to 4-digit number divided by correct 1-digit number equal to 1260 divided by 7. In this case is 180. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. Okay, question 23, part A. The table shows the number of visitors to Bird Paradise. What's the total number of visitors to Bird Paradise in a week? Express your answer in the terms of P in the simplest form. So from Monday to Friday, let's just zoom this in. So Monday to Friday equal to 5 days. So each day is equal to 3p, or 1 day, 1 weekday. Let's make it a bit more clear. 5 weekdays. So 5 weekdays is equal to 3p times 5, which is 15p. So total in 1 week is equal to 15p plus 6p plus 70 plus 9p minus 25. This case, we will just add all the p's together. This will be 30p plus, and then 70 minus 25 will be 45. There you go. So the answer is 30p plus 45. So for part B, find the value of p. So we know the total number of visitors to the paradise is 7395. Okay, so total number of visitors. Hold up, wait a minute. Total number of visitors for the week is 7395. Okay, and from the previous ones, total number of visitors in terms of p is 30p plus 45. So this is p. So that means 30p plus 45 is equal to 7395. Okay, so just do this where we minus 45 on each side. Okay, so we're left with 30p, which is equal to 7350. Yes, so 30p will then be, so 1p will be equal to 7350 divided by 30. Cancel 75, 735 divided by 3, 2, 613 will be 4, 5, 245. Okay, there you go. So the answer is 245. 24a, the pie chart represents the type of sports the primary 6 students liked. The number of students who like bowling is the same as those who liked cycling. What is the percentage of students who like bowling? Okay, so we can say if cycling is equal to bowling, so let cycling, bowling be 1 unit each. So that means 100% equal to 1 unit plus 32% plus 1 unit plus 28%. So we'll calculate everything up. So this will be 2 units plus 60%. 2 units will then be 100 minus 60 will be 40%, not dollars. 1 unit will then be equal to 40 divided by 2. This will give us 20%. Right, there you go, 20%. So part B over here, it says here there was 10 more students who liked basketball than rugby. What was the total number of primary 6 students? So that means rugby over here equal to 10 plus basketball. We know the percentage for rugby. Yes, 28%. And 10 plus basketball is 32%. So that means 10 is equal to 32 minus 28, which is 4%. 4% is equal to 10, 100%, which is total number of students. In this case will be 100 divided by 4 times 10, which is 250. So the answer is 250. So question 25, the figure is made out of squares. Shade two more squares so the figure has a line of symmetry. So we don't know where is the line of symmetry. So how do we know which is the line of symmetry? So you can do trial and error. But in this case, since there are like 5, we can try this one first. Okay, we put it in the middle as what you see over here. So if I were to put in as blue squares, the line of symmetry will be one over here, this, and or maybe I'll put color, right? Okay, and the other one is here, but that also is one more here. Okay, so sadly, this is 3, so we can't do 3. What about if we were to do the other way, which is can't really do diagonally because there is 4 and there is 5. So 4 is the height, 5 is the width. So we can't do diagonally. We need to make it into a square. So only other way to make it line symmetry is through from left to right, or we call it horizontally. So that means for this one, there isn't one. So we're going to put one here. Then this one, I'm going to put it here. So there you go. So there's only 2. If we double check, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, the third one, 5, and 6. Right. So that means this is the answer. Question 27a. The bar graph shows the amount of rainfall each month from July to December in 2024. What is the difference between the highest amount of rainfall in a month and the lowest amount of rainfall? So let's calculate which one is the biggest. Sorry if it's a bit more what do you call this? Can't see the lines, but I'll try. Okay, so from here we know, like, looking at it, we know what's the uh highest. So highest amount, basically tallest bar, then lowest amount, which is also just shortest bar. So that means highest amount is, so highest amount over here will be, this case, December. Put December. Shortest one is September. September. Okay, so now we know this too. The next part is we want to know what is one gap. Okay, and how many gaps. Let's zoom it in. Two. All right. So for this, the amount of gaps, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 gaps is equal to 50. 1 gap is equal to 50 divided by 5. This is 10. Okay, so now we know the gaps. The next thing is we want to get the value for the lowest month, which is September over here. September is just 1 bar before 150. So September be 140. Then for December, you can count the number of gaps. It's 1 line away from the highest amount, which is 300. So let me just put the line for December. Fractions 300, 1 line away. Okay. So that means December go to 290. So difference go to 290, 140 to give us 100 and okay, there you go. So the answer is 150. Okay, so for question 27b, what is the percentage in rainfall in September compared to August? So we know that September is 140. So we want to know August as well. Let me just highlight September again, a little bit big. Okay, and we want to highlight August. We use another color for August. August is 1 line above 150. So put August is 160. So what is the percentage decrease in rainfall in September compared to August? So difference or yeah, just or decrease in rainfall. It's basically 160 minus 140. This will give us 20. So percentage decrease in rainfall is then be decrease in rainfall divided by August times 100%. So that means it's 20 divided by 160 times 100. Okay, so 1 over 8 times 100 is 12.5%. Okay, so the answer is 12.5%. Question 28. During a sale, a store gave a store-wide discount of 20%. Daryl signed up as a member and received additional 10% discount on the discounted price. He paid $720 for the coffee machine. What was the total amount of his discount? So we know that Daryl paid in percentages is equal to, so it's not Daryl paid in percentages, right? We need to understand something first. So example, okay, so for example, we have a blender that is $100. So that means after store-wide discount is 20% off will be $100 times bracket minus percent. Basically, we have only need to pay 80% of the price, which in this case pretty straightforward is $80. Now we have additional, so there's this thing, additional 10% discount on the discounted price. So this is the discounted price. So that means we have $8 $80 times 100 minus 10%, basically 90%. That will give us $72. Okay, so we don't add the two percentages. We have to calculate separately. So that means, I mean, I give you the answer already lah, but $720 is equal to 100 minus 10 is 90% of discounted price. Or I'll just put 90% is equal to $720. So 90% of discounted price, okay, is 720. So 100% of discounted price is equal to, in this case, 720 divided by 90 times 100. This is $8. Okay, so that means 80% of original price go to dollars. Okay, so sorry, but yeah. So the membership discount amount is equal to 800 minus 720, or 10% essentially, which is $80. Okay, then 80% original price is 800. 100% of original price is 180 times 100, which is $1,000. Discount. What about the store discount amount? In this case is 1,000 minus 800, which is 2. So count amount equal to 200 plus E. This case is equal to 400. The answer is 208. Question 9. Nancy had a rectangular piece of paper. She folded along the line AB as shown. X is 124 degrees. Find angle Y. Okay, so we know that X over here is 124 degrees. Okay, so 4 degrees. So you need to remember about folded angles is that they are the same after they are folded. Okay, so we know this is a rectangular piece. So in this case, this is I would say a trapezium, right? So angle, so I'm gonna part like this. So 1, 4, then part angle. So the red outlined shape a trapezium because rectangle lah, right? Since rectangle opposite sides are parallel. Angle at A highlighted red, which is the before folding, is equal to 180 minus 4. This will give us 56. This over here, 56 degrees. 96 degrees. Okay, so that means this part over here, let me just grab this, it over here. I see over here, right? So I'm gonna put thing. Okay, so folded. Remember, fold same folded. So this is 56. Okay, so that means this part over here is also degrees. So angle Y, right? It's basically 180 minus 56. Okay, so folded angles are the same. So for angle Y, is angle in a straight line, basically 180 minus 56 minus 56, so 56 times 2. In this case is 180 minus 112, give us 68. Okay, there you go, 68 degrees. Question 30. Lisha used 16 identical right angle triangle tiles to form a rectangle. The perimeter of the rectangle is 80 centimeters. Find the area of one triangle. So we know that the perimeter of the rectangle is 80. So I'm going to put here, let L be length of triangle. Let B be breadth of triangle. So in this case, we have one L over here. I'm going to make this red. And then one L the same as this, okay, because this is 1L, 1L here, L, and if we were to zoom in, this one breath, 2, set up 1, 2, and 3 means 1L is B. Forward. So that means the length of rectangle is equal to times 3B is 6B. So what about the breadth of the rectangle? Breadth of rectangle. Okay, so for the breadth, it is 1L, and we have B. Breadth of rectangle equal to 1B plus 1L, right, which is basically 1B plus 3L. For this length of rectangle, basically 2L, this case B. So 1B plus 3L, B, sorry, 3 not L, 3B is 4B. So parameter of rectangle then be equal to 6B plus 4B plus 6B plus 4B. This will give us 20. 20B is equal to 80 centimeters. 1B is equal to 80 divided by 20. This will give us 4 centimeters. Okay, so so the base of triangle, it can be anything lah, but area of triangle, it's not anything, sorry, half times breadth, half times base times height. So base over here can be either a 1B and 1L, right? So height triangle go to is 1L go to 3B go to 3 times 4 go to 12. Then here's the base. So it can be either, it can be interchangeable and it still works the same. So 1B, which this is 4. So half times base times height. So half times, so right, base properly, yes, base. Base is 4 and height is 12. This case, that'll be 24. The answer is 24 centimeters square. Alright, that's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to show you next in the next one. Bye bye.